So he said, in natural state, where we don't have any laws, any kind of policy, so we are living in the natural state. So can you imagine? Without any laws, without any country, state, whatever, no government, nothing, just human beings. Being in the natural state, so we are psychological egoists. Which means the only interest I have is to survive. So my only interest in this natural state is how to survive. So how to get food, and how to survive. So the only will I have is will for living. Okay? So will for living, or will to survive. Now, if you imagine human beings in such conditions, what would you say? How is living in such conditions? If I have the will to survive, and you all have the will to survive, this is our only goal. What is the living life like? Dangerous. Why? It's very dangerous. Why? Yes. So we have some resources, and we all would like to have those resources. And then we start fight for those resources. So my will, clashes to your will. So they clash together. So and we have conflict. So right now we have a conflict. So we have clashes because of the only interest we have. So to survive. Human beings in this state are the same. Not equal, but the same. Tell me the difference. The difference between being the same and the difference between equal. What do you think?
Same appeals for the same attitudes towards their life and the whole world, while the equality appeals for the status and the ability to fulfill their roles.
Okay. So the same meaning that we have only this one interest, so we are physically the same. Where does the term equality come? What do you think?
Different.
Yeah, but where does it come from? From the laws. From the laws. From the laws. Equality is established by laws. And in this state, we are all the same because we don't have any laws. You understand? There is no state, no protection, yeah? And that's why we are the same. We are not equal. We cannot talk about equality in this this kind of state. So we cannot talk about morality because morality is established by law. Yeah? Good and bad is established by law. Yeah? So we don't have any laws here, so we don't have any morals here. Again, the only will is will to survive. Okay? Okay. Now let's move on. Now the consequences are like this. So here is, let's say, my freedom, yeah, and here is your freedom. Now those two freedoms. So this is, and my freedom and my only goal is to survive, and yours also. And now they clash together. Yeah? So this is not good because you already mentioned life in this kind of state is really dangerous. Yeah? It's really dangerous. It's not a good life, and so on and so on. Yeah? So what happens now? The human beings, we are having, let's say, two things: passion and reason. Yeah? So human beings, we are having passion and reason. Now, this passionate part, our passion, yeah? Passionate part wants to survive, and it's really this will for living, yeah? To survive. Reasonable part is the part that says, okay, this kind of life in this kind of state is dangerous. I don't want it anymore. Yeah? You understand? So reason is the one that says, okay, we have to do something. I have to do something because otherwise this is not the life that I would like to live. Okay? The passion says, I want to live, I want to survive, but yeah, reason also, I want to survive, but in a different way. This is not the good way. So we have to change something here. Okay? Now the change. The change happens here. Passion? Can you help me with the translation to Chinese maybe?
It's passion. Passion.
Yeah.
Passion, yeah. It's passion.
What's the difference between reason and passion?
Between what?
Reason and passion.
Reason is mind. Yeah? Reason is mind. Passion is more connected to your, I don't know, inside, yeah, to your, I don't know, will. It's a will to do something without reason. I just want to do this. I'm really passionate about this. Do you understand? Okay? Just come in. Now, so we need to do something. That's the point, yeah? We need to do something now with this, yeah? So, now what happens? It's going with, so, like we said, we cannot, our reason says we cannot do it like this. We want to survive, we have to do it differently. That's why each one of us gives a part of this freedom, away. Yeah? And we will do it like this. Yeah? Do you understand? Now we have a part of a freedom which is here, and we all said, okay, we don't need this part of the freedom, but we are doing it because we want to have better living. Okay? Now, what does that mean? This means that my freedom is here, and it ends when your freedom starts. Do you understand? And your freedom is here, and it ends where my freedom starts. Which means that this amount of freedom is protected. Is protected, nobody should go there. Do you understand? Yeah? So this is the part of freedom I gave away for free humanity. Do you understand? We all gave a part of the freedom away, and this is the actual social contract. Yeah? Okay? Now we made a contract. I, as a person, am giving a part of the freedom away. So, for example, I'm not allowed to kill you, yeah, because this would be entering your freedom. Yeah? And now the living can be better. Now we can live together. Yeah? And this part of the freedom is always protected. This means that we, do you understand me now? And this is the beginning, so you can write down, this is the actual beginning of social contract. Yeah? So the beginning of social contract is here. So once again, I renounce my right to be violent, yeah, if you do the same. Okay? I renounce this right if you do it also. Yeah? And that's not a social contract. But this, on this stage, social contract is still conditional. Yeah? It is still conditional. Yeah? What does that mean? What is still a problem with this social contract? We gave now a part of our freedom away, but still, can I sleep silently during the night? Yes or no? Not yet. Exactly. What if you come at night and kill me? Exactly. I still don't trust you. So, this is still conditional phase in the social contract. That's why we need to do a step further. Not just give this freedom away, but give this freedom to somebody to guard it for us, in the name of us. And this one is usually called a king, parliament, it can be a party, any kind of government. Do you understand? So any kind of government, yeah, which protects this freedom in my name, in your name, in our name. Yeah? And now we have a real social contract. So now we can be satisfied. Yeah? Now I can live normally. I'm not afraid anymore. Because when somebody breaks or enters this freedom, this means the law, and here with the government, of course. This government can be, like I said, king, parliament, and anybody. This kind of government, this kind of government also establishes law. Yeah? Laws. Yeah? Now, those laws protect me from the other person. Yeah? And I know if somebody breaks this rule, yeah, he will be punished. And this is now the end of the social contract as Thomas Hobbes was somehow designed. Yeah? Okay? Do you understand? Yeah? Okay, now let's go just a few steps back in the natural state. So why do you think there is no, let's say, morality, no ethics in natural life? Can we repeat that? In natural living, in natural state.
Survival is the only goal.
What?
Survival.
Because, yes, okay, you did understand. Okay, cool. Because surviving is the only law, yeah? And we don't have any other laws. Law usually establishes also, good, evil, morality, and so on and so on. And now by that, we got also this, okay? We get law when creating this social contract, yeah? When we are creating this sovereign who protects us from each other. Yeah? And this social contract, now application directly to the debate. This social contract can be used whenever you have motions on, I don't know, states should ban, this house believes states should ban smoking. Yeah? How is that connected with that states should ban smoking? Why? Try it like this. Other people's health or somebody else's? You need to go a step further. This is true because I'm hurting also the others, yeah, passive smokers, and I'm also hurting who? Somebody else is also hurt by me smoking. Who? Yeah. And I gave the mandate to the state, yeah, to the king, to the parliament. I renounced my right of complete freedom. I gave it. Now you protect me back, and that's why the government has the legitimacy to say we are here to protect you from yourself. That's why we are doing it. We are banning smoking. Do you understand me? This is the justification. Yeah. Are we clear on that? No, not completely. Yes, girls? No, just...
We relinquish, like give up part of our freedom, not all of them.
No, part of my freedom. So you weren't here at the beginning. We all gave just a part of our freedom. So my freedom ends where your freedom begins. And your freedom ends when my freedom begins. And in between, there's a space we do not enter. Otherwise, we are punished by law. Okay? This is why in the motions, for example, state should do this and this and this. This is always the justification why the government has the right to enter my private sphere. Yeah? And this is for protection from myself. You are doing yourself your harm, yeah? And you gave a mandate to me to protect you. Do you understand? I know you understand, but you kind of...
But you do not have the freedom to smoke or not smoke. Those smokers, they choose to...
I would say that's debatable. In debate, it's always debate. Of course, smoking is not forbidden. We all know. But when we are debating the motion, or if the state would prohibit smoking, I would say this is the justification for the state. Why it has the right to do it. And if you ask me, they could do it with this justification. We are protecting you from yourself. Yes?
The social contract can be used in every motion about whether government should.
Of course, yeah, this is the legitimate, of course, yeah. In each motion, when you are saying the government should change this policy, this is justification for the government.
Yeah, so whenever government can do something which might violate into the citizens' right, they can use the social contract. Then after all, do you think that government has to be...
Yes, and then we have a debate, yeah, and then we have debate and arguments, of course. You cannot have there is no such an argument in the debate that wouldn't have some space to be negated. So don't try to make these arguments, because otherwise the debate would be impossible and we are not debating anymore. So it's impossible to have an argument that wouldn't be debated. Okay? Then we cannot debate. You cannot debate if you do such an argument. Okay? Okay, is everything clear until now? Okay, let's move on. Now, you will see the same thing, but in a different way. So in a different perspective. So there's also, so this is the first step. This is social contract by Thomas Hobbes. Yeah. Now I will show you the social contract. You know the philosopher maybe Jean-Jacques Rousseau? No. It's a French philosopher. Don't mind. Jean-Jacques. Rousseau. Yeah? Now he goes a step, let's say a step further with this social contract. He takes the concept from Thomas Hobbes. So he takes the concept from Thomas Hobbes, agrees with him, but disagrees on authority based. So disagrees on authority based on power. Yeah, on power, and gives the sovereignty to the people. So he disagrees on this one, on this party, blah 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 blah. Yeah? So basically, what we are looking here. So he agrees with all these concepts, but he just thinks this is just gaining power of some smaller group. We don't have to do it like this, yeah? But bring something else. So he says, give this back to the people. Back to the people. So he calls back to the natural state. Back to the natural state. So back to the beginning of Thomas Hobbes. Okay, are you following me? So back to the beginning of Thomas Hobbes. But in a different way. He says, instead of giving power to this sovereign, this king, this parliament, this party, give it back to the people. So let's move back like we were in the natural state, but we have a commission. We have a commission who only gives us the laws, and we are voting for or against the laws. Do you understand? Yeah, we have just a commissioner who is giving out the laws, and we are voting for those laws, and we are for or against it. Okay? So now we move back to the natural state. Yeah? So he repairs somehow Hobbes' idea about this social contract and says, this is not okay, because this is accumulating the power in one body, and this power can be corruptive. Yeah? So we don't want this. Yeah? Give back the power, give the power back to the people, so we move a bit back to the natural state, but give them ability to vote. They have to have a say for each law. Yeah? For each law. Yeah? They have to vote for the law. So basically what we are talking here with Rousseau, he's basically against, so this would be what in, let's say, some modern democracy. This would be, for example, if we would have a parliament, this would be a representative democracy. I vote my representatives in parliament. Okay? Rousseau, on that stage, would be against this representative democracy. Yeah? Do you understand me? So he would be against this representative democracy, but he would vote for direct, so-called direct democracy. Okay? Now, let's elaborate a bit on that. What is the difference between representative democracy and direct democracy? If it's representative democracy. What do you?
Maybe your opinion is not representative.
Yeah, exactly. So we vote our representatives in the parliament, and they are deciding for us. Direct democracy is just when they ask me, each one of us, so in one country, is being asked, what do you think about this and this law? We will vote this and this law, now you vote. Yeah? And we vote. Yeah? And every one of us has to vote, let's say. So this is somehow, in this way, was established like first democracy in Greece. Yeah? Was established like this. Yeah? Okay? Do you understand? Are we clear on that up till now? For sure?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Now, democracy, let's say, somehow is established by this. Yeah? This was also the basis for this social contract from Hobbes and Rousseau. Was also the basis for the French Revolution. Do you know the French Revolution? Yeah. Where they didn't want a king anymore, they wanted a contract. Yeah. They wanted a republic, true republic, and so on. And then they gained these laws with freedom, equality, and so on and so on. Yeah. Okay. Now we will move to our second part of this lecture. And the second part of this lecture is short analysis of. So don't forget the social contract because we will gonna need it after this. Now, short analysis of today's state. Yeah, we will just look how things are in actual political world. Yeah. So we have the biggest social stratification ever in history. So the biggest social inequality in history. Even slavery, or I don't know, Middle Ages didn't have this kind of social inequality. What do I mean with social inequality? It's a gap between rich and poor. Okay, it's a gap. So never in history we had such a gap between rich and poor as we do today. When we have, let's say, some kind of democracies spread it around the world. Even in times of slavery, we didn't have this kind of exploitation or such a gap between rich and poor. Okay? Do you remember the demonstrations on Wall Street? Yeah? Do you remember them? So 1% against 99%. Do you remember this slogan? Yeah? 1%, the richest people in the world, they present the interest of 99% of all the others. So 1%, but even if this 1% is 5, it's still a huge gap between rich and poor. Are the richest people in the world who are leading the world. Yeah? And on the other side, on the other hand, we have totally poor people and the amount is really big. Yeah? So the gap is the biggest. Now the question is why? Because before this was established, we had like slavery, we had like exploitation and so on and so on. We had, I don't know, kings whose kingdoms were really poor, the kings were rich, but the people were poor, without food and so on and so on. And then we established this, with French Revolution, this equality, democracy, blah blah blah. So what happened that this gap is even bigger? Now, the problem is that in the past, when the slaves were not free, they knew who to fight against. They knew who to fight against. They completely knew their enemies. Okay, he bought me. He's my enemy. I have to kill him. But what is the problem of today's society? The problem is we don't know how to identify our enemy. Now, just short analysis of who that enemy might be, but we don't know how to fight it. Now, do you know this one, this philosopher? Marx. Now, a short elaboration on Marx. Marx says that man is always producing something to survive. So we do some work, and this is maybe something you would like to write down, because this is something that you can also use in the debate. I will show you in the end of this event. Okay? So Marx is saying that we always produce something to survive. Okay? Now, Industrial Revolution somehow brought the division of labor, let's say, brought the division of labor, somehow specialization of the workers, and that brought also social classes. So classes made richer classes, poorer classes, and so on. So increased productivity. So what is increased productivity? So we started to produce with Industrial Revolution more and more products. Yeah? And this somehow resulted in surplus value. What is the surplus value? Now the profit is here. And now what is the profit? Is the whole amount of the money that, I don't know, the capitalists are getting into their companies, is the whole amount of the money. So this is the amount of the money minus wages of the workers. Yeah? So wages of the workers. Yeah? Okay? Now those wages are, because who is producing these things? These workers. Yeah? And so this profit here should be theirs, says Marx. This should be distributed equally among the workers because they are producing it. Of course, capitalists can take his salary, but it's the vice versa. The majority stays here, where the capitalist, the majority stays here. This minor part goes to workers. Now, what is this profit? Now, this is really a lot of money. Yeah? But the system is made like this, that if you have this kind of money, you just invest it. Invest it further. And investment means what? More profit. That's it. And you don't have to do anything more to gain more profit. And once again, more profit. And this is how this gap between rich and poor, because who is now poor? The workers, are the poor part, the majority. Those who produce the majority of things. But suddenly it happens that, do you understand? And that's why this gap between rich and poor escalated so quickly, and it is so big. It wasn't so big never in history. This is a totally new phenomenon of, let's say, today's society from 19th century ahead. Do you understand? No. And who are those owners? Who are they? Or let's say, what kind of companies are those? How do we call them? Multinational companies. Do you know the word? Yes. Yeah? So multinational companies have the money today. Yeah? So 1% of the people are these multinational companies. Now, why is that even harder today? Because we don't know, again, who to identify in multinational company to fight against. Do you understand? Because slaves knew, like I said, okay, I don't know, people in some kingdom, okay, we have a bad king. He has to die. French Revolution, for example. They knew, okay, we have to fight against him. But here, where the system, capitalistic system, is made like this, that it spreads around the world with these multinational companies, so we don't have any person to fight against, but only something artificial called multinational companies. That's why this fight is so harder than it was, I don't know, fight against slavery, for example. Do you understand? Do you get me? And that's why this gap between this 1% and 99% that happened is so big because of this. Yeah? Because of this problem. Okay. Now, the funny part is that French Revolution. Now, why do we have this problem? That we don't know how to identify our enemy. Now, this is no philosopher specifically. This is me saying, I am a philosopher, but still not very good, not well-known one. But still, the fault is in French Revolution. Égalité, liberté, fraternité, blah 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 blah. So equality, freedom, and so on and so on. And the fault is this social contract. Why? Because the French Revolution gave the basis for freedom. And the French Revolution told us, okay, you are free now. You can speak, you can talk, you can do whatever you want, except don't enter the freedom of anybody else. Yeah? But it's funny, because we were somehow interpolated in this freedom. We were born now in this freedom. I'm free. I don't know, I don't have anything to complain against. I'm free. And this is now the free market. It's saying, you're free to do this. You can do this. But how? You can't do this. Because you need some money to start to do it. You need some profit at the beginning. So, do you understand me? To do it. And if you don't have it, you are here. And they're saying, yeah, but still, you're free. And in our mind, we are interpolated in this freedom. Yeah? We think it really happened. Do you understand? But my actual thesis is this freedom never happened. Yeah? This freedom never happened. And that's why Rousseau called back to the nature. Yeah? So Rousseau said, let's move this social contract. Do you remember social contract? Before, let's move this social contract back to the nature. Yeah? Do you remember this sentence? Yeah? That was Rousseau's call. Yeah? Go back to Thomas Hobbes, but with direct democracy. Yeah? Back to the nature. My call would be, we have to demand another French Revolution, this time for real. Do you understand? Yeah. This is the solution. We are calling for a new French Revolution, yeah? Because this interpolation in this social contract was a scam. A scam of, let's say, I would say, capital and profit. Yeah? It's a scam of capital and profit, and we are somehow interpolated in this freedom, and that's why this fight is so hard. Because we cannot step out and say, because, for example, I come from let's say, cultural background where this freedom, let's say, was somehow established and so on and so on. And I cannot go above this and think that I'm actually not free. Because everybody thinks you are free. And I am free, I can do anything, and this is the biggest scam because I cannot fight against it because, you know, and so this fight is the hardest fight in the history. Now, I found one solution. Maybe. You will decide for yourself. It's one another author, I won't even mention him, because it's not so important, but still he had one good idea. Now, the problem today is, here is, I'm somehow backing up this elective, because today's society, we are so diverse, yeah? We are, I don't know, a part of different parties, we have different interests, we are, I don't know, members of feminist society, members of different subcultures, we like different music, and he said, okay, we have to stop doing this. The only way to fight against this is to demand a new revolution. I'm saying new French Revolution, yeah, this time for real, okay, is to demand a new revolution But to demand this, we cannot be like we are, so members of different interests. We have to have one common interest, to demand this revolution each second. So each second we have to demand this revolution. Do you understand? And this is the solution. This is the only way it goes. So we need to be members of one class, who only has one wish. We want this revolution to happen and we want freedom again. Let's say, for the majority. Who would say so? Which author could that be? Because I started with one author, but I have included also another one. So where is the solution? Members of one class. The author is on the board somewhere. Yes. Karl Marx would say. So the solution is what? Yeah, the real communism could be the solution of our freedom. Okay? Communism. Karl Marx, the real communism, without free market. Because, do you understand? That's it. Okay, questions?
Someone said that the so-called American democracy is no democracy at all. It's like, what do you think about it?
The American democracy is no democracy. I mean, it's a Western democracy, I would say, which is extreme because you have to. You have to make a difference between economical system and political system. Democracy is political system. Economical system is capitalism. Those are two different systems. Okay, those are two different things. And in terms of it has flaws, like Slovenian democracy. It's basically the same thing. Yeah? We both have this capitalistic system incorporated somehow in this free society, which is now, as you see, not so free as we think we are. Only it's hard to fight this fight. Yeah? So I wouldn't say it's, it has flaws, but I wouldn't say it's really bad democracy. Yeah? But the capitalistic system, if you ask me, definitely bad. Definitely bad. And we all have it. You have it too. Somehow. Yeah?
I think that most people who maybe vote for a revolution means that they think that the status quo is not good enough. So they are someone without those privileges. So do you think that even though there are some kind of communism age happen, do you think that someone does not want to have more privilege than others?
Yeah, but you have a regulation. If you read Marx, for example, Karl Marx, if you read him, you have still the government, you have the party who regulates that. So, and you don't have any private property. That's the main goal. That's the main goal of communism. We don't have any private property. Nobody. No elites, nothing. The real communism, if you read Marx, is without property. Even if somebody wants more property, no, you can't have it. This is the property of the state. This is the property of the people.
So what about those who want more property?
I'm very sorry for them. They cannot have it in communism.
So you will never promote this?
Me?
Someone who wants properties.
So this is a question for me. If I would promote, I would never promote this. Yeah? No, definitely not. I'm against, me personally, if you're asking me, I'm against that. Because I think it damages the people. Yeah, it's doing damage to the majority of the people. Yeah? People are hungry on one hand, but look at the world. Okay, we have the southern part of the earth, except, for example, I don't know, a few countries there, is hungry. And the northern part of the world, we are having the tons of food, too much food. and the people are still dying in today's society of hunger. Come on. Do you understand? And distribution of goods is unequal. And the fact is here, and the gap is getting bigger because of this. And this is the problem. Now, how do you use that in debate? How can we do that useful in debate? This concept of... You had one now. Why government? Why not free market? Do you understand? The space exploration? Yeah? Do you understand? Yeah? The state or the government? Do you see? Or the free market, sorry. The state, which is government, yeah? Or the free market? What happens with free market? Yeah? What's going on? Yeah?
I think it's free, but actually it's still outdated by the government.
Of course, definitely. So this is here, those concepts are really useful. Because this part, yeah, the capital is always working only for one thing, for the profit, for the interest of capital, not for interest of people to have, let me paraphrase the motion, to have another planet to live on, because the planet Earth is lacking the resources for living. Do you understand? So the interest of the capital is always profit. This is not the priority. Do you understand? So this is how you use this concept in the debate. Okay? Any other questions?
In the communism, there's no free market. That means that we give the freedom to the government or something. It's just like the total cost.
Yes, it is. But without capitalistic system. Yeah? Do you understand? It is like Thomas Hobbes. Definitely. Communism is Thomas Hobbes. It works with each system that establishes some kind of governor, whatever. It goes with Thomas Hobbes, but still it doesn't work with a free market. Yeah? This is not communism is a political system. And it's also communism is also an economical system. Yeah, can be. Yeah? If the state owns everything. Yeah? But when you have private property, you have this. Do you understand? Was that the answer to your question? Or no? Anything else?
When do we need to have like a direct democracy, representative democracy?
Once again?
When do we need to have, for example, we have motions like we need to have a public referendum concerning one specific issue, and they say because we say democracy, representative democracy is not representing everyone, therefore we need to have direct democracy. Where can we draw this line? Like when should we have this direct referendum?
When do we need a direct democracy? If you're asking me again, I would say always, but still, who am I to judge? You say, so why is representative democracy better than direct democracy? Just a few tips. For example, it's direct connected to the people. This is the major argument here. Direct connected to the people. People are asking, people are voting. Yeah. So there is no representative in between who would work for his own interests, but not in my interest. So this is the line you say. And this issue is so important that I need to be asked from the government Okay? Was that okay?
But when you have this representative democracy, isn't that people who are being elected should be accountable for people?
Yeah, they are elected, but still, do you see that we have a lot of corruption? Of course, they have been elected, but they got somehow corruptive in between, and I have the right not to trust them anymore. So, next question, ask me directly, because I don't trust my representatives anymore in the parliament. Do you understand? Yeah? Okay? Any other questions? Okay, was this elective okay for you? Did you get any points for yourself and so on? Yeah? Okay, thank you. You have to move to the next room.